As you can see, I've gone ahead and filled in the rest of the Punnett square. If you have not done so already, continue with your Punnett square and finish it up. If you have finished it, check to make sure that yours looks just like mine. Now, what we need to do is we need to figure out the phenotypic ratio. Since there are so many potential genotypes, we don't normally go through and figure out the genotypic ratio. Instead, we're going to analyze our Punnett square the way it is. Now, I'm going to highlight in yellow any of the ones that are going to be green and tall. So this one's green and tall, green and tall, green and tall, green and tall. And as I'm highlighting these, I'm looking for any that have a capital G and a capital T, since those are the dominant traits that go for green tall plants. And once I've finished here, we can count them up, and we should see that I have 9 green and tall plants. The next one I'm going to look for, and we'll go in the turquoise color, is going to be green short plants. So what I'm looking for here are any that have a capital T, or a capital G I should say, and no capital T. And you'll notice in all of these we see big G's and then 2 little T's. I have found 3 of those. So those are 3 green short plants. 2. Let's take a look here and find the yellow tall plants, and ironically we'll be highlighting them in green. This is a yellow tall, and yellow tall. What I'm looking for here are 2 little G's. I cannot have a big G, and I need to have at least 1 big T. So I found 3 of those, 3 yellow tall. And my last combination is this last one that we see here, and that is a yellow short plant. In this cross, I ended up with only 1 short yellow plant. All right, now I've included one extra practice problem. The reason I have this one on here is to help us see a time-saving technique. For this one, we're going to cross a short yellow plant, so little g, little t, and I'm going to cross that with a homozygous green, big G, homozygous tall, big T plant. Now when I go through and foil, I do my firsts, little g, little t, my outsides, my little g, little t, insides, little g, little t, and my last, little g, little t. Hopefully you notice that the only thing this parent could possibly pass on is a little g, little t. This is my only possible gamete. I don't need, if I notice that there are repeated gametes, I don't need to repeat them when I make the Punnett square, simply because that would only result in a row that is exactly the same as another row. Over here, when I foil, I find that I'm left with all big G, big T's. The only thing this plant could possibly pass down is a big G, big T. So when I go to make my Punnett square, if this parent can only pass on a little g, little t, and this parent can only pass on a big G, big T, I'm going to be left with all of my offspring being big G, big T, little t. I could have gone through and filled in the rest of the Punnett square, and I would have seen that everything that I filled in, big G, big T, big